Project Gutenberg ebook of a short Start of the Project Gutenberg ebook a short Rector of the Royal High School, Edinburgh. The main purpose which I have had in view in writing this book has been to present an account of Greek philosophy which, within strict limits of brevity, shall be at once authentic and interesting authentic as being based on the original works themselves, and not on any secondary sources, interesting as presenting to the ordinary English reader in language freed as far as possible from technicality and abstruseness, the great thoughts of the greatest men of antiquity on questions of permanent significance and value. There has been no attempt to shirk the really philosophic problems which these men tried in their day to solve, but I have endeavored to show, by a sympathetic treatment of them, that these problems were no mere wars of words, but that in fact the philosophers of 24 centuries ago were dealing with exactly similar difficulties as to the basis of belief and of right action as, under different forms, beset thoughtful men and women today. In the general treatment of the subject, I have followed in the main the order, and drawn chiefly on the selection of passages, in Ritter and Preller's Historia Philosophiae Graeci It is hoped that in this way the little book may be found useful at the universities, as a running commentary on that excellent work, and the better to aid students in the use of it for that purpose, the corresponding sections in Ritter and Preller are indicated by the figures in the margin. In the sections on Plato, and occasionally elsewhere, I have drawn to some extent, by the kind permission of the delegates of the Clarendon Press and his own, on Professor Jowett's great commentary and translation. John Marshall. Transcriber's notes. The passage numbers in the Ritter-Preller book mentioned in the second paragraph above are indicated in this book with square brackets, e.g. 10. In the original book they were formatted as side notes. In this ebook they are embedded in the text approximately where they appear in the original book, unless they are at the start of a paragraph, in which case they appear immediately before that paragraph. Page numbers are indicated with curly brackets, e.g. 5. They are embedded into the text where page breaks occurred in the original book. In the original book, pages had headings that varied with the material being discussed on that pair of pages. In this ebook, those headings have been collected into an introductory paragraph at the beginning of each chapter. The original book uses several Greek words. These words, the chapters they are used in, and their transliterations are as follows. Chapter I, pages 3, 4, 12, Archie, Alpha, with the soft breathing. Mark, Rho, Chi, Eta, Loyos, Phi, Lambda, Omicron, Iota, Omicron. Final Sigma. Chapter 3, page 28, Soma, Sigma, Omega, Mu, Alpha, Sigma. Sigma, Eta, Mu, Alpha. Chapter 4, page 33, 34, Daza, Delta, Omicron, 11, Alpha, Peri. Pi, Epsilon, Rho, Iota, Flios, Phi, Upsilon, Sigma, Epsilon, Omega. Final Sigma. Chapter V, page 48, Logos, Lambda, Omicron, Gamma, Omicron, Final. Sigma, Huel, Upsilon with rough breathing mark, Lambda, Eta. Contents. Chap. I the school of Miletus. I Thales. 1. 2 Anaximander. 7. 2 dash the school of Miletus, underscore concluded underscore, dash. 3 Anaximenes. 14. 4 Heraclitus. 15. 3 dash Pythagoras and the Pythagoreans. 22. 4 dash the Eleatics. I Xenophanes. 31. 2 Parmenids. 33. V dash the Eleatics, underscore concluded underscore, dash. 3 Zeno. 42. 4 Melissus. 46. 6 dash the Atomists. I Anaxagoras. 52. 7 dash the Atomists, underscore continued underscore, dash. 2 Empedocles. 58. 8 dash the Atomists, underscore concluded underscore, dash. 3 Leucippus and Democritus. 74. 9 dash the Sophists. I Protagoras. 85. X dash the Sophists, underscore concluded underscore, dash. 2 Gorgias. 92. 11 dash Socrates. 101. 12 dash Socrates, concluded. 116. 13 dash the incomplete Socratics. I Aristippus and the Cyrenaics. 124. 2 Antis thence and the Cynics. 128. 3 Euclides and the Megarics. 132. 14 Plato. 134. 15 Plato, underscore continued underscore. 146. 16 Plato, underscore continued underscore. 154. 17 Plato, underscore concluded underscore. 162. 18 Aristotle. 172. 19 Aristotle, underscore continued underscore. 187. XX Aristotle, underscore concluded underscore. 199. XXI the Skeptics and Epicureans. 210. XXII the Stoics. 238. Index. 245. 1. Chapter I. The School of Mildness. Underscore the question of Dale's water, the beginning of things, soul in all things, mystery in science, abstraction and reality, theory of development underscore. I Thales for several centuries prior to the great Persian invasions of Greece, perhaps the very greatest and wealthiest city of the Greek world was Miletus, situate about the center of the Ionian coasts of Asia Minor, with 4 magnificent harbors and a strongly defensible position. It gathered to itself much of the great overland trade, which has flowed for thousands of years eastward and westward between India and the Mediterranean, while by its great fleets it created a new world of its own along the Black Sea coast. Its colonies there were so numerous that Miletus was named mother of 80 cities, from Abydos on the Bosphorus, past Sinope, and so onward to the Crimea and the Don, and thence round to Thrace, a busy community of colonies, mining, manufacturing, shipbuilding, corn raising, owned Miletus for their mother city. Its 2 marts must therefore have been crowded with merchants of every country, from India to Spain, from Arabia to Russia. The riches and the wonders of every clime must have become familiar to its inhabitants. And fitly enough, therefore, in this city was born the first notable Greek geographer, the first constructor of a map, the first observer of natural and other curiosities, the first recorder of varieties of custom among various communities, the first speculator on the causes of strange phenomena Hecataeus. His work is in great part lost, but we know a good deal about it from the frequent references to him and it in the work of his rival and follower, Herodotus. The city naturally held a leading place politically as well as commercially.